I was telling a client the other day, before you take business advice from anybody, you should treat it just like when you go to the gym on who you ask advice from the gym.
You're right about that, which of course you wouldn't ask if you wanted to be a bodybuilder. You wouldn't take advice from a skinny little guy, Right. But let me tell you the story. We have a client, totally right now. They asked me just to get on the call, just to kind of like get some feedback of what was going on. And she hired a part-time manager. Okay, he worked in the construction industry. Okay, so he worked in the construction industry and he was a manager or something like that. And he told her that he could come in and that he could restructure her whole business to grow the business. Okay, now this client already had an actual action plan. Okay, but she hired the guy. He showed up one day on the phone and she's like, this is who's here now and he's going to show me how to do everything. And we basically kind of said like, have you ever built one of these before? He's like, no, but I ran a construction business. And I was like, okay, but do you understand any of the clinical aspects of this? Well, I don't need to understand that. I know how to set up a business to run a business.
Because all businesses are the same.
Exactly. So the business owner was just like, yeah. So I brought him in. And finally, we had a private conversation with the business owner because we said, you know what? He's never actually worked in a medical practice before. He's never actually set up from ground up a business like this before. He's going to revamp you from the ground up. And I said the gym analogy. Have you ever heard the gym analogy? You'd never take advice from somebody who hasn't built what you want yours to look like. Right. And I said, you're an AMI client. We built over 1,000 of these. We have a track record of 14 years of building these, and you're an elite client. You have a very specific action plan. What I'm seeing is you don't like the steps on the action plan because that means you have to delegate a little bit.
It's amazing what people do to try to avoid things they're uncomfortable doing.
Totally. Well, here, I'm going to use another example. This one's just in life, right? I'm sure we've run into this with clients. I don't want to even be sounding like complainers, but so I was talking to my brother and my brother said, I should be doing this. And it's like, well, what does your brother do? Well, he owns a landscaping company or he works for some company somewhere. I'm like, has he ever built what you want to build? Well, no. But the common sense is people take advice from their parents, their brothers, right. Their friends, and then they act on advice. And usually that's what gets them into trouble.
Yeah, you should really look at what somebody's built before you ask them to help you build something.
Yes.
Is it even remotely close to what you're trying to build?
Yeah.
I mean, a business has got some similar structures, but a construction business is nothing like a doctor's office.
No.
I mean, you need to get advice from people who's actually been down the path that you're trying to go down.
Exactly.
And that's what we've done.
And have done it over 1,000 times.
And it's not only 14 years. We started our first clinic in 1992. And we went through all these trials and tribulations and have been successful at every clinic, not right off the bat. We've made a lot of mistakes along the way and actually figured out how to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And one of the advantages of using somebody like that is you don't have to go through the same mistakes. You don't have the same learning curve because they've already been through it.
Exactly.
So they can guide you. It's like having somebody guide you through a swamp.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, well, this guy can guide me through the swamp because he knows how to walk around the mall.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You'd be lost.
I know.
But if you know where the pitfalls are in the swamp and you've already got stuck in them, you can help other people to avoid them and let them know why. And it makes it so much easier, so much smoother.
So much easier.
And the reason we're doing this is not because we just want to help people build businesses. We're trying to change healthcare. And to do that, we need a lot of practices being successful. We can't afford to have 1,200 clinics going through a 30-year learning curve to try to change healthcare.
Exactly, or get diverted with bad advice. It's interesting. Somebody told us one time, this guy who has $200 million company now, and he said there's a very polite way, which is when somebody says, I think you should do this, is to politely just say, I'm building my practice to 500,000 or 700,000 or $1 million or whatever it is. Have you ever built a practice to that point? And they get a little uncomfortable, but if they say no, say, well, I appreciate your advice, but I actually need to take advice from somebody who's built what I'm looking to build. And that actually helps to shut down family members in a very polite way. But every business owner, anybody who gives you advice, that should automatically go, did this person build? Let me ask him.
An easier way to do it is like, have you ever been through the swamp I'm trying to go through?
Which is true.
Oh, you've never even heard of it? Okay.
Yeah, you don't even know what that swamp is. I know.
That's right.
I get it. Mm-hmm. So if you want advice from people who've actually done it, click the link below.